Welcome to the Affiliate Guy podcast. If you want to grow your income, serve your tribe, and enjoy all the benefits of affiliate marketing and having your own affiliates, you're in the right place. Thanks for joining me today. Let's get started.
So I just finished this lesson with our List Launch Academy students, and we decided to try something with this group. We're actually doing the lessons live every week, and then we have the replay available and all that stuff. And so it's not produced, right? It's not produced. I've got slides and I've got notes, at my disposal, but we're not doing these lessons where it's like, everything is so produced and perfect and whatnot. And so some things happen sometimes that wouldn't happen in a produced video. And we were talking about manifestos. We were talking about manifestos as a lead magnet. And one of the things that came out of that, actually, just as an aside, sorry, you're going to hear more podcasts like this. I'm recording this on my phone, and you're going to hear more phone-recorded podcasts because I'm going to share more thoughts as they're raw. And so sometimes that means I'll be recording them outside, and there'll be some background noise, or I'll be in an event and there'll be some background noise. Sometimes that's going to mean that, in this case, I'm in the studio, but I'm in my video studio, not my recording studio. And so I'm not going to use my fancy setup. And that means you'll hear some background noise, or you might hear, like right now, the floor in here. It's creaking a little bit, and you might hear it. And I'm walking, because that's how I think best. And so you're going to hear more of these. And if you're what is the term? If you're like an audiophile, an audiophobe or whatever it's called, where everything has to be perfect and has to be recorded into a professional microphone. Well, that's just not going to be the case. That said, I think we're like 5 years away from being able to record into a phone and it sounding better than the quality of recording studios were, in 2010 or so. I mean, where these things are getting crazy good. Well, back to my point though. We were talking about a manifesto as a lead magnet. I was just sharing the process that, of how to create a manifesto and going through that process with our students. And I started down this rabbit trail. I said, it's like if I were going to make a manifesto for my tribe, what would it say? And I started to say these things and realize, this is something I need to share this on the podcast. I need to share this more publicly. And because people were just like, whoa, that was really cool. And that's what, we want to hear. And it was just this idea, like, one thing as I shared with them is that I know something about you. So I know something about my List Launch Academy students. I know something about our No Product, No Problem students. I know something about you. You right now, even if you're neither of those, by the very nature of you listening to this podcast, I know that you aren't like most people. I know you're not like the sheep. You're not like just the masses. You're not like them. You're not bound to your cubes. You're not a slave to the what's that thing called? The punch clock, the time clock. That's not you. Your dreams aren't forgotten. And I said, the thing is, you don't have, by very nature of listening to this, you don't have a life to escape. You don't have to numb the pain. You don't have a pain that you even have to numb. I hear this so often that I think it was Seth Godin that said, wouldn't it be better if rather than having to take a vacation from a job, that you had a job that you didn't have to feel like you had to escape? Stephen Pressfield wrote about, in the beginning of his book, The War of Art. He told the story of Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler was an aspiring artist who I don't remember the exact story, but something along the lines of he couldn't get couldn't get into the Vienna School of Art. And Pressfield wrote, he said that when Hitler's dream was crushed, that was what set him on this spiral of, the results clearly if you know anything about history. And he said, I would dare to posit that if Hitler had gotten into the Vienna School of Art and had been able to fulfill his dream and been able to let his art and his creativity in the world, that we would have never had World War II. And I am inclined to agree with him. Because if he were living out his true purpose, he wouldn't have had to have numbed the pain. He wouldn't have had a pain to numb. He wouldn't have had a life to escape. Part of what he did was escaping his own reality that he was so sick of. I talk to so many people in my family, people I love. How was your day today? Just another day. Just another day? You don't get very many of these. I did the math the other day. If you live to be 100, you only get 36,500 of these things. You only get 36,500 days if you live to be 100. And while I think that's more and more possible, and you might, the reality is it's very unlikely. You're probably going to have less than 36,500 of these things. And you just had just another one? And so I know something about you. That you're not going through an endless cycle of just another day. Every day is different. Because you're weird. Because you're weird. And so I encourage them and I encourage you. Make a declaration. I'm weird. I'm weird. You see, the masses go through just another day. The masses are just like, they're indistinguishable. Sheep number 1 is indistinguishable from sheep number 2. If you've ever watched the children's show, Shaun the Sheep, it's great. I think it's funny. All the sheep are different and have different personalities. There's baby sheep, and there's the kind of the fat sheep, and then there's Shaun, who's funny and sarcastic and got all these features to him, and then there's the kind of the nerdy sheep and the jock sheep. That's not a representation of real life. Sheep are all the same, but not you. While others cluster on when you look at this map that represents, one of those, what are they called? The little dot charts. Others cluster, you're that random dot all alone on the graph. Graph, that's the word I was looking for. You're all alone. You're the outlier. You're the random dot. Well, here's the thing. You have to remember this. The sheep are paid attention to, but the random dot is ignored. The random dot gets mocked. The random dot gets made fun of. Gets told that he should move into that cluster. But the random dot also gets the last laugh. And you're that random dot because you're an outlier. You're a person listening to a podcast about making money online, about making a difference in the world. You're a person listening to a podcast to get better, to be a better version of yourself. That's not normal. Isn't that weird that that's not normal? To you, to me, that's normal behavior, but it's not to most people. So your family probably won't understand. Your friends will call you crazy. Because they need one more sheep for their flock. It might as well be you. So they'll ridicule you. And they'll try to get you to come join them. But you remember that they said the same things about everyone who dared to leave the flock. They said the same things about Steve Jobs. They said the same things about me. They said the same things about anyone who dared to be just a little bit different. But I want you to also know that you're not alone. You can be the random dot, but there are other random dots. And the thing is, we all kind of join together, even though we're still random dots. There are more sheep who left their native flocks in search of something bigger. And you're a weird outlier. This is the unique thing about this. You're a weird outlier, but you're not the only one. It's kind of this weird dichotomy. There are others. There are others just like you, but different. There's others just like you, but different. And they're calling out to you. Because they feel the same things that you do. They feel like they're alone. They feel like that they're too random of a dot. And so, the thing is, when you start a business, when you build a platform, when you teach others, you've got to be a little crazy to do those things. Because it's hard, because it can be painful, because sometimes you don't know the path. You got to be a little bit crazy to leave an employer who every week or 2 weeks or whatever gives you money. And it's there, and it's always the exact same amount. You got to be a little crazy to do that. So you know what? Embrace the crazy. Embrace the crazy. And call it what it is. You're messed up. You're freaking messed up. I am freaking messed up. I'm defective. How about we just acknowledge that? We're defective. Why? Because all the good little drones march to the beat of the same endless, repetitive drum. Your wiring, though, is a little loose. You're over here marching to a different drum. So something's wrong. They're robots. Your wiring is loose. Your programming is faulty. You're missing some screws. I don't know. And you would think that those are insults. But that makes for one heck of a better story than he was just like everybody else. Think about that on your tombstone, if you will. Do you want it to just say he was like everybody else? She was just like everybody else. Nothing stood out. I don't think so. I don't. And so I encourage you today to embrace the fact that you're weird. But also know there's a lot of other weirdos out there, and we're here to help. We're all here to help each other. So that's one of my manifestos for you. And I hope that this sparks something in you today. I hope you maybe get through a tough time. Save this episode. Go back and listen to it when you need it. And I'll see you in the next episode where I may or may not talk about some affiliate marketing strategies. I don't know. Or maybe I'll just talk about how weird you are and call you names. Until then, I'll see you in the next episode and have an amazing week. See ya.
Thank you so much for listening today. Remember to check out all of our deep dives into affiliate marketing at theaffiliateguy.tv. And if you have a question, you can ask it at asktheaffiliateguy.com. Who knows? Might end up being featured on this podcast.